Debating a summit on the future of the European Union as Brexit looms. Setting priorities for the 2018 EU budget, stressing youth, jobs, innovation, and security. And the circular economy gets a boost with new rules and deadlines for Europe to recycle more of its waste. Hello and welcome to our roundup of the European Parliament's latest plenary session here in Strasbourg. We begin with debate on the outcome of the latest EU summit as leaders prepare to mark the 60th anniversary of the founding Treaty of Rome. When EU leaders meet again later this month in Rome, they are to issue a declaration on the future of Europe. It is where 60 years ago the EU's founders signed a treaty bringing together the first 6 members of the European Union. The latest summit focused on drafting that declaration.
It was a relatively optimistic discussion about our common future, with a positive approach from all sides, without any exception. As I said after the meeting itself, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
But the EU 28 are about to become 27 as Britain prepares to exit. And there are tensions between some of the other members as populist leaders gain domestic support by criticizing the EU. EPP Group Chairman Manfred says the re-election of the European Council President shows the resilience of the EU in spite of testing times.
Everybody sees when you see Brexit, when you see Putin, when you see Trump, everybody understands that this is a challenging time for the European Union. And that's why we welcome, first of all, the good outcome of the last week's Council, that Donald Tusk was re-elected by a big majority. Only Poland excluded themselves from the process, but the Council was really united in this vote. That's very positive. And now we have to deliver on the content as well. We have to make progress in the interest of people.
By the way, EPP TV is preparing a short documentary on the Treaty of Rome for release on the 24th of March. That's the day before the anniversary. Watch for it. Next, another issue that has very much to do with Europe's future, the EU budget. Parliament approved a report calling for more funding for youth, innovation, job creation, and security. The report, authored by the EPP Group's Siegfried Mureşan, sets priorities for the European Commission to draw up the budget plan for 2018.
We want to see more funding next year to 2 key areas. Number 1, jobs, and number 2, security. We believe this is what the citizens expect Europe to deliver.
The report calls for more funding for R&D through Horizon 2020, COSME for SMEs, and the Erasmus Plus education and training program. It also calls on the European Commission to assess the potential cost of an Interrail ticket for all youth turning 18, originally an EPP Group proposal.
We want young people in Europe, irrespective of their studies, irrespective of whether they are students, whether they're in another form of education, whether they are employed or whether they are looking for a job, we want them to get to know other European countries, to make friends, to practice foreign languages which they have learned in school. And we know this is important, especially for finding a first job.
Finally, the European Parliament gave a boost to a greener, more circular economy. It approved legislation setting deadlines to recycle more and throw away less. The legislation suggests new targets by 2030, that most municipal waste will be recycled, composted, or reused. Landfills would be limited to 10% or less of all waste. And it sets a 50% reduction in food waste, in line with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The EPP Group's Karl-Heinz Florenz is shadow rapporteur.
We have to be more careful what we are doing with our waste. Don't dig it in the landfill. It is a good, and we have to recycle that. And you will be surprised how many packaging waste could be reused. That's a business chance.
A top priority, Florenz says, is to recycle rare materials for use in electronics, for example, that Europe otherwise needs to import.
If we are not careful there, then we can't employ our staff because we have no raw material. So we have to do it.
The legislation also calls on industry to manufacture products easier to recycle. That could help spur innovation and new companies to profit from that demand. That's all for now from the Strasbourg session. See you next week in Brussels. And find out more about the activities of the largest political force in Parliament by checking eppgroup.eu. Thanks for watching.